You ready?
Let's get it.
Hey, yo, it took about 5 years, but I got DJ L-Spade back on the show. Matter of fact, we used to do this podcast, and then he went and did his own thing, and he out here live, baby. What's the name of your podcast, Marcus?
Yeah, it's the Common Knowledge Podcast with Marcus L-Spade Johnson. Please like, subscribe, and if you don't like anything I'm saying, please follow me on any other socials under DJ L-Spade or
and let him hear. And let him hear.
Happy to conversate with you.
You saying basically if somebody don't like what you're saying that you want them to come find you? Is that what you're saying?
Man, off top, I'm cool with it.
Well, speaking of getting confounded, is that a word?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is.
Well, it's definitely dumbfounded. I bet you Tory Lanez is dumbfounded right now.
Yeah, not a great day for that guy now. Not a good day. Looking at the sentencing hasn't happened yet, to my understanding, but
the what? The sentencing? Oh, yeah. The verdict and then the sentencing is later. Yeah. He's facing up to. Let's scroll it on down. This is a late breaking news. Everybody was watching this, trying to see what's going to happen because what else we got to do with our lives but focus on entertainers.
I mean, it could be enjoy time with the family this holiday season, but Tory Lanez is a lot more interesting than that.
Yeah, facing 22 years in prison, Canadian hip hop artist Tory Lanez.
Canadians.
Or as CNN pronounces Lanez. Is it Lanez or Lanez? I'm pretty sure it's Lanez, right?
It's Lanez, but a lot of folks do say Lanez, and that's how I know they don't listen to his music.
Okay. Yeah.
Tory Lanez.
That's how CNN report. I kind of got a little chuckle out of that, but I had to be real. I mean, I had a conversation about this just yesterday with some folks, and I guess we had the wrong take. I just took it from a sense of, reasonable doubt, but I guess for this instance, because where did it happen? Like it happened in California.
Yes, in California.
So that's the element we didn't put in. We thought this was like, if this happened in Florida, Lanez would have been cool. He could have just said, stand your ground, the castle doctor or something, right? But California don't play about no guns.
Actually worked in that situation, but it's something he could have tried.
But I mean, look what he did try. This is what he tried, right? He goes, what really happened, she mad at me because she got found out by her best friend that me and her been messing off, and they really mad at each other. I had nothing to do with it. But I said, but a gun went off. Like, how do you multiple crimes were, just because you didn't intend to shoot her and you had reason to shoot her or whatever, or you was that angry, don't mean that you still are allowed to shoot at people, unless they shooting at you.
All right, let's all just take a step back and just realize this whole situation is just dumb in general. Now, I'm going to say off top before we get started with anything, I am fully aware that the American criminal justice system is not here to establish innocence or guilt. It's not. Or truth. We're not there. It's like, what can you prove? That is the American justice system, right?
Correct.
I know that. But when you look at the whole confluence of situations that happen, what we do know, the raw data, we know Tory Lanez, it was 4 people in the SUV. Tory Lanez, the bodyguard, Megan, and her friend.
Mm-hmm.
Only 4 people, right? We know a gun was shot. We know that for a fact because there was bullet fragments in Megan's foot.
She went to the hospital, yeah.
So, that being the case, somebody in that car had a gun, somebody shot, somebody's at fault. Mm-hmm. Now I'm asking, whose SUV was it? Apparently it was Tory Lanez's SUV. So, you're culpable off top. Mm-hmm. Like how much you can argue with me about how much, but off top before we even got into end this, I'm like, yes, of course it's your fault, dude. How does a situation escalate to that point where all y'all supposed to be friends and now you're shooting? So no matter what, I was like, yo, Tory Lanez had to be held accountable for this, right?
I mean, apparently, how long did it take them to deliberate? About what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Bro, you can't.
The man's car.
You can't even go to you can't even go to the gas station and pump gas and get back home in time before they would have deliberated. They were done deliberating that quick. Somebody said I had somewhere to be. You know what I mean? They made easy decisions.
Bro. Like, what did you have to deliberate about? Like, the whole setup sounds stupid. It's a lot of, dare I say, a lot of toxic feelings about Megan that's really like.
I think that's what it comes down to. A lot of people are maybe taking the whole, this goes back to the whole concept of sometimes people of color have to be twice as believable just to be considered, a person, right? Like, for instance, in the medical community, we talked about that before, where it seems like, Black patients had to ask for more help from their nurses just to be treated for the same level of pain, right? Just recently in the medical field, they had to change the whole. I guess there's a whole system where diabetics or diabetic people on dialysis. There's a certain threshold before your kidneys fail before they recommend you dialysis, right? But for some reason, with people of color, particularly the Black community, they had a different variable that made their threshold much lower than what everyone else was. So it's
a myth that Black people can take pain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I don't know where that came from. But that is not true.
My point is, in the medical community, that's how things are starting to slowly change. So look at the legal community. Now, legal community, people are going to have to go by the letter of the law. American citizen, number one. Megan is an American citizen. We got to protect our own anyways. These Canadians coming out here wreaking havoc. You know what I mean?
There's been a lot of Canadians doing a lot of turmoil recently. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked by a Canadian. Put it out there.
I'm being a little facetious, but the point is at the end of the day, I just wonder, would the Canadian legal system be as lenient? I think they probably been more severe, to be honest.
It would have been a lot more severe.
Yeah, because they don't have the Second Amendment up there. What you doing with a gun, Tory?
They have something similar to it. It's just the restrictions are super, super strict up there in Canada. Yeah. You can have a gun in Canada, but the loops.
Yeah, because you got to kill the moose. The Mises, when they come out the woods, you got to be ready.
Have you seen a moose in real life, bro? Them things are huge.
I don't need to. I don't need to see it to believe. I've seen enough video comparison. I've done another analytical data. My eyeballs looking like that's a person. He about 5-6 feet. That's a moose. He about twice as big. I ain't winning that fight.
They're monsters, dog.
You know what I mean?
They're a monster, but something's like eating just weighed heavily on my heart with this whole situation that just really made me sad. It was just as Black people and people of color, we went through this whole situation with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, where people was like, yo, we gotta defend Black people, and oh my God, outside confluences of communities are coming against the Black people. We gotta stand together. But that same levity was not given to Megan Thee Stallion, because we have this perception that women lie and we don't believe women. And that goes back to like a bunch of movements that have been happening recently in America with the Me Too movement, and we don't believe women. And I just saw it all happen in front of my face. I'm just like, we don't believe women, no matter what. Like the whole story just okay, let me just say, I don't know how it's like to be a woman, and I don't know the pain that women go through every day. But one thing, me and you do know, we know how it is to be dudes. You know what I know dudes do? They lie on their penis all the damn time. Like the story, bro, the story the dude came up with, I was banging both of them, and then my dick was so good that the other chick pulled out a gun and shot the other chick. That sounds like some made up stuff on top of your head to make yourself sound good. The story made no sense to me.
Honestly, it all sounded ridiculous from both ends, because I'm be honest, I kind of was leaning towards Tory at first. But now that I, kind of had a moment of revelation, I was like, you know what? No, it doesn't matter. There was a actual victim. The victim, you got to believe the victim. She was the one that actually hurt. Tory didn't get shot. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have more credibility towards the victim that was actually assaulted, which rightfully they came up with the right conclusion. But at the time, I was too much leaning on the idea of reasonable doubt, because whenever she was explaining the story that, he was shooting at her, he was like, dance, B-word, and all this kind of stuff, I was just kind of like, it just seemed a little too cartoonish. It seemed a little too like polished of a story. But then you have to come down to it. It's like, yeah, because it actually happened. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's the thing, right? You got to take in consideration people's patterns, right? Tory Lanez has a pattern of violence.
That's my whole thing. I didn't know that.
People, that's nothing. A lot of people didn't know that, which really got me all the defenders. I'm like, but you're defending this guy? He done assaulted August Azalea, then been in multiple arguments with like people online, then been in fist fights. They got all these assault charges, and that's the guy people like, well, hey, I'm going to defend Tory Lanez. It made no sense to me, dog.
I'm not trying to be.
This is the guy you're going to defend?
I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, he should have, number one, learned from Chris Brown. Don't assault women, especially a famous musician, a partner, right? But he decided to just double down. He added a gun to the element. He wasn't winning that. Chris Brown didn't win his case. You know what I mean? She showed up at the hospital with bruises all over her face. Megan showed up to the hospital with some shrapnel in her foot. So I mean, it's like, you're not going to win this. So going back to the reason why people were somewhat leaning to Tory was the whole reasonable doubt thing. Because I was just kind of like, reasonable doubt is it's a lot of gray area. If you have an ounce, a shred of reasonable doubt, then you got to acquit, right? But for the charges of maybe attempted murder, right, or maybe or second or first degree or whatever they want to for the murder, attempted murder charge, they can probably get rid of that just because of reasonable doubt. But for the whole unlawful discharge of a gun or possession, you can't. There's no reasonable doubt there. Physically, there was a gun. There was physically a gun. So to me, it's like you couldn't rule out reasonable. Somebody had to go down for that. But
that's my whole point. What you just said was my whole point in the situation. Now, do I think Tory was trying to kill, or okay, I put it like this: whoever was in that car was trying to kill Megan? No, I do not, because they were aiming at her feet, whoever it was, or maybe somebody just a bad aim, right? But a gun was discharged, and we look into California law. Somebody had to go down. Now I'm looking at who car was. It was Tory. Now you didn't give me anybody. Well, okay, you said Megan's friend shot at her. All right, cool. But the friend had two different stories. At first, under the first interview, the friend said, "Oh, Tory shot the gun." Then after the alleged "I give you $1 million to keep this hush" situation, the friend came back and said, "Hey, no, that was me. I shot that." So like the whole story was murky.
$1 million for 22 years in prison, that ain't enough.
That ain't enough, dude. Like I would have, like, as Tory Lanez, I would have give you $1 million. I would have acted up to the $3.5 million.
And it's
versus 20 years.
And it's,
you can have 3.5.
And people were probably being, I guess, cautious in regards to just convicting the court of public opinion because of what happened with, it says here, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because that one was like the most, I guess, the last recent highly publicized domestic violence case between two celebrities, right?
I don't think so.
No, I'm just saying, like, it just says it's common for opinions to run wild during high-profile celebrity cases. To look no further, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So remember that there was a split there. But I'm not saying those are two different people. Like, they have no correlation to this, So
well, once again, I look at the preponderance of evidence, right? And like what I was looking at in the story, like Amber Heard's story didn't make any sense. Like her abuse story, I'm like, okay, it's iffy. Right. I'm not saying you're lying, because we always got to say like women are possible lying. But like that was just a countersuit because Johnny said I had enough. Right. But in this suit with Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, the only logical explanation I could come up with was it was a situation that got blown out of proportion. Somebody was in their feelings. And if we're going to like do this whole people of color, especially black men, need to be stewards of the community, we have to be men, then we got to hold that man accountable, because there's no way in hell that that situation should have escalated to that. You're leaving the party, 4 of y'all in the car, and somebody gets shot. And everybody's supposed to be friends and know each other.
Yeah, just leave her there, let her get an Uber, or let her someone's picking up, just drive away, walk away.
Well, you know the story, right? The story was allegedly, man, Megan said his music was booty, and dude got in his feelings about that. And it's like, if that's all it takes, you know how many folks I'm told my music garbage, bro? Like
not me. Not me.
But I got a laundry list. If I shot everybody who said my music was garbage, bruh, I'd be the #1 serial killer in the world, dog.
Yeah.
You can't, like, that can't be the catalyst.
You can't have that thin of a skin and be that rich and that famous. Yeah. And that, to me, and like it just goes down to it, like the evidence is, #1, you had unregistered firearm. It was discharged. And somebody did get shot. So what do you want people to do? Just let bygones be bygones? She's not letting it go. She didn't stop.
But why would she lie, though, Max? Like, that's my whole thing. When people like, well, Megan's lying. Why? What did she have to gain in this situation by lying and saying that Tory Lanez shot her foot? And then somebody said, well, no, it's a friend. Bro, it's only 4 people in the car. You think she don't know who shot her? I'm like, that made no sense. It's not like it was a whole group of people. It's not like it was a crowd. And people was from different angles. It was 4 people in the car.
so like I said, it just comes down to it in regards to like I said, reasonable doubt was a thing that he was trying to hinge it on, right? To try to get people to believe that in that situation, could it have been someone else? Could it have been someone else, or could it have been necessary for him to discharge? Like, regardless, he was trying to sow a lot of reasonable doubt. But let me just tell you a quick parable about reasonable doubt, and maybe it'll come to mind, right? So there's a recent case where there was a murder, I guess, what's it called, a murder trial going on, right? And it was a lot of evidence against the defendant. The defendant was like pretty much facing life in prison, but the defense lawyer, he just came up with his only recourse to the case was to get reasonable doubt, and he explained to the jury what it was, any ounce, even if you think it could be true. What happened, but he really didn't have the evidence. All he did was he said, I guarantee you my defendant, my client is innocent, because The person he kills about to walk through that door right now in 5 minutes, right? And then sure enough, for 5 minutes, they just stared and looked at the door. Nobody walked in. The dead person did not come back to life. And then he turns around, looks at the jury and goes, now look, if you didn't have any reasonable doubt, why were you guys looking at the door? That should show you there's some doubt in this case. So the jury, they went and go deliberate it. And of course, they came back outside, you know, after a couple hours to deliberate. They were like, we found him guilty of all charges. And then he was like, what are you talking about? Your Honor, you know, he's talking to the court. Why did you not give my client any reasonable doubt? You guys stared at the door for 5 minutes. And they goes, yeah, we did, but your client didn't. So that goes back down to, you know, so what were the tells from Tory? I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's sad because he seemed to be somewhat a decent musician. You know, a guy caught up in his emotions, made a very rash decision. I don't know if he has any recourse, if he's going to appeal, if he can appeal. But I mean, that's just
yeah, but I don't care, man. I don't care. Like, if once you make that type of mistake, dude, you got to be held accountable.
Exactly,
and
man.
Once again, dude has been a menace out here in these streets. But the sickening thing to me was that nobody else came to this conclusion, and I actually saw people like, okay, you said reasonable doubt. I'm with you on that. If he would have got off because of reasonable doubt, okay. Fine.
Well,
but
for all the charges,
of this man,
he couldn't, not for all the charges.
But the defense of this man was the sickening thing to me. Like, I don't know if you see my socials, but I said that you have to start protecting black women in general, and we got to start protecting black women. And you can't be pro-black if you don't think that Tory Lanez should be held accountable. And boy, I got like, I thought that was gonna be the rah, yeah, let's all come together moment, but it was not. And like I said, what I forgot to add in this equation is that we just don't believe women, like, in general. Like, it's just a bunch of, dare I say it, toxic masculinity, to the point that you can't believe women because women be lying.
Well, I mean,
every circumstances.
To be honest, people in general lie, right? And people in general lie, especially to defend themselves. So it's just a matter of trying to, like you say, you gotta be objective. Look at the evidence. So he's facing up to 22 years. It doesn't mean he will get 22 years, you know. You
know what the sad thing though? I truly believe had dude just shut the hell up and maybe worked the background and not made a song, a diss song.
He made a diss song?
Out the tweet. Oh man, see I'm not here's the thing, right? Enough. Tory Lanez put out a diss song, made multiple tweets. How you think the story about him running through Meg and her friend came out? That was Tory. I feel like, man, had dude just shut the hell up, like worked in the background.
See, that's
probably could have got out of this junk.
That's why you gotta be mindful of the company you keep, because Tory Lanez didn't make that decision himself. He didn't go to Fruity Loops, open up a mic, and just recorded that in his bedroom and put it out to SoundCloud. You know, he had to have somebody audio engineer that whole. Somebody had to tell this man, "Yo, man, these lyrics you need to change this up. The cadence ain't right, man. We gotta get the right elements into the song. You know, you gotta hit them right with some zingers. The hook we gotta redo, and then he had to master it, and then he had to put it out there through his publisher. A lot of people in his circle.
A lot of change. It's like Trump's NFT, man. When I saw the NFTs, I'm like, oh, dude ain't got no friends. Mm-hmm. So the real friend would have been like, bro, I don't know about this one. So the same thing with Tory Lanez. He got no friends. Like, a friend would have been like, hey, bro, you might want to calm down on this one. Just chill for a second. So let this die down. Maybe work out something with Megan. You could have got an NDA. Because initially she lied about being shot in the foot because she said she was trying to defend him.
She was trying to protect him, yeah.
And you could have actually rolled that out. Had you been like apologetic and be like, you know what? I'm stupid. My bad. What do you need? I'm going to take care of all your bills and I'm going to compensate you for this. What do you need? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to shut the hell up. I'm quite sure he probably could have got away with it. Mm-hmm. Just dead ass. It just, that damn ego down, the male ego so goddamn fragile. He had to say something. Mm-hmm. And then even if the story was true, bro, you ain't got to say that you was running through both of them. Like, what did you get out of that? Like, what was the purpose of being like, yeah, I ran through her friend and her, and the friend got mad and shot her? Like, what do you get out of saying that, my guy? That was just pointless to me.
He got 22 years.
It was a pointless flex.
He got 22 years now.
You got possibly 22 years for not shutting the hell up. Like, something I heard in the Army and it stuck with me. Pardon my language, but old sergeant told me, don't mess up for show pussy trying to get more pussy. You end up with no pussy, right? And that's the case, dog. Like, you out here bragging on that. You know, bro, if I can get swear a quarter of the ass I've given up from just running my mouth, bruh. Not saying I keep track, but I'm just saying now I have talked myself out of a lot of it. Like, especially in college, man. If I just would have shut the hell up, relationships could have got saved, and I could have had big come ups. Like, that's something you gotta learn, how to shut the hell up. And Tory Lanez's whole problem is, man, he had little man complex. Like, dude's only like 5'5". He got this little man complex where he gotta just like put himself out there. Yeah, look at me, I'm the man. Should have shut the hell up and worked everything in the background, and this probably could have been avoided. That's just my opinion, though.
I mean, like I said, everybody can only speak from their own experiences. And you know, just to summarize what you just said, I mean, it sounds like keep your mouth closed unless you're gonna get asked out. I mean, that's just what happened. You know, you can be either out of ass or asked out. So one of the two.
Let me tell you something, man. Like, quick story. Like, I think it's kind of apropos to this situation, right? I had a Japanese girlfriend that went to Australia, and before she went to Australia, I was like, look, man, we should probably break up because this ain't gonna work long distance. But she was like adamant, nope, we're gonna do this, Marcus, we're gonna make it work. I was like, all right, cool. I knew it was a lie when she said it. So I went to visit her because I've never been to the land down under. I went down there, I visited her and everything like that. Long story short, I saw a message pop up from a dude, blah, 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 blah. Oh, found out she was cheating.
Oh my goodness!
I had two options at this point. You could have made a mixtape, right? You could have dropped some diss tracks. Oh, that's a third option.
Oh, okay.
I could have made a mixtape, right? I could have went and confronted her, or the third option, shut the hell up and not say anything. Now, the option I chose, shut up and not say anything. And the reason why I chose that option was that had nothing to do with me. Dude was cheating. And at the end of the day, I was about to leave Australia and go back to Japan. Yeah. So she's cheating now, and when I leave, she's going to be cheating again. So me saying anything right here was going to be pointless. It's like, all right, well, I'm out way.
You're going to end up in an Australian prison. And they got snakes, kangaroos, dingoes, wombats, everything. Alligators. You don't want to be up in them jails.
So that was my whole thing. Like, well, why even bring this up? I'm like, well, Marcus, all right, cool. I went back to Japan, and later on, she came back to Japan. And she was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you want to pick up where we start? And that's when I told her, like, look, I can't do this because blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, you knew that? I'm like, yeah, I knew that. And she was like, well, why did you say something then? And my answer was like, why would I mess up the good thing I had going on? Like, you got some great box. Like, why would I mess up what I'm doing because you got to give it to somebody else? Well, like, no, that's you and his problem. His problem.
That's just a level of maturity I think most people, and this isn't just for men or men only, but women in general, it's just like, if you know the situation isn't going to be permanent, right? Well, then just take the value that you can in the short term, but long term, like you said, you made up your mind. You're like, you know, if a person can't be faithful for the short amount of time they're away from me, why would I invest the full amount of time with you, right? So,
and that's Tory Lanez's problem, man. I'm like, dude, you could have just took the L and just left.
Pride is the
and
devil.
Did some repair work.
Pride
is the devil. But overall, man, like, I hate to see this situation happen because it's a bad life for the entertainment business, for the hip hop, because people already think everything about hip hop and criminality is connected to blackness and everything we do is criminal. So I hate to see this happen. However, look, man, you got to be held accountable, Tory Lanez, for something.
Yeah.
And let's see what the sentencing comes down with. I don't think he'll get 20 years,
I think he'll probably get 10 and probably do only like 2 and then get out with community service or probation for the rest or something like that.
I'm leaning towards that too. Yeah. I'm saying maybe he'd do 5. No more than 5.
I mean, like what was wrong was wrong. Nobody disagrees with that. But at the end of it now, it's all about like, you know, this is a whole nother podcast we do. What is the point of prison if it's not to rehabilitate?
True story.
You know what I mean?
True story. I mean, the most of the criminal justice system in America is based on punishment. Like even our laws, we just want to punish somebody, but how long do we want to punish somebody? And the answer is forever. That's why we still got that box when they get out of prison. Were you a convicted felon? I mean, really, that's none of your business, my guy. I did my time. Like,
yeah, you know? It is. Yeah, felons, they need to get some kind of rights restored that once they paid their debt to society. But,
you know, I say cancel culture isn't real, but that's the only real cancel culture in America. Prison system. Like once you've been in there. No.
Cancel culture is real. Please do not cancel me for the opinions of this show. We are trying to learn. We are just human. I do not have the answers. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know in the comments. I just want to make sure that people understand that, you know, the point of the Bridge Masters is we're bridging the gap between knowledge and what's the other part? Knowledge and intelligence, right? Because
council coach ain't real, bro. It ain't real.
I mean, I don't know,
ain't
bro.
nothing they can do. Like, ain't nothing they can do.
I ain't seen the Cosby Show in about 10 years rerun. You know what I mean?
That wasn't a cancellation, bro. That was holding somebody accountable for being a serial rapist.
That's true. Okay, so
look, we can say accountability culture, yes, but there's nothing that physically the general public can do in general to counsel somebody. Now, here's the thing about the entertainment business in particular, and that seems like that's the only time the counsel culture exists is in the entertainment business. But entertainment works like this. I'm telling you this as an actor. If people don't like you, you're not going to get jobs. It's literally a popularity contest. If people don't like you, they don't like what you stand for, then you're not going to get jobs. Now, here's the thing about Bill Cosby. He can do the work and some PR work, like Louis C.K. did the work. Like, you can do the work and get out there and get some more grace, and you'll get more jobs, man. But a lot of these folks ain't doing the work. But it ain't cancellation, dog. It's just, you was a serial rapist, dog. Nobody wants to see that shit. Yeah. R. Kelly, you wasn't canceled. It's like, dude, you was a pedophile.
Yeah. So, speaking of, so let's touch on that. That's the last thing. So R. Kelly dropping that album in jail. You said that was like a filler. They were just filling it out. Man,
that was the biggest marketing ploy of 2022, dog. Yeah, that was a heat check, bro. That was a heat check to see if there was a hunger for his music, dog. And let me tell you why. Like, once again, as a musician, ain't no way in hell you don't know who did this. In order to distribute your music, you got to go to a distributor. You got to put in your name. You got to actually give your ID to know that it really is you. Mm-hmm. Then after you do that, you got to do the tracking list. You got to put in the PRO information, and you got to have a legit bank account for the money.
Yep.
You mean to tell me that all that was done under a fake name? It's impossible, bro. It's impossible. So maybe R. Kelly didn't do it himself from prison. That'd be stupid, but he know who did it.
Yeah.
That's a EJ, bro. Like, ain't no way in hell they don't know who did that now. That was just to see in the general public in general was there a hunger for his album. And honestly, I was surprised to see how much of a hunger it was. A lot of folks like, yeah, I want to listen to R. Kelly. Well, once again, if you want to listen to R. Kelly, cool. But you know what? You can listen to it and not tell nobody. I mean, that's just your prerogative. If you can listen to R. Kelly's music after all the vile, disgusting things he did to underage girls, go for it. I can't personally. I can't attach to. If you can, cool. Once again, I don't see how people still mess with the Catholic Church, to be honest. But if you can, cool. I cannot. But that's all it was, man. It was a heat check. It was a marketing ploy.
So like I said, if you got any problems with what Marcus is saying, come find that man on social medias. We gonna end it there. DJ L-Spade, L Maxwell, we out, baby. Bird gang.